Uh, Hello, everybody. Good morning. And my name is Samuel. This is Samuel TV. Let's say I like that because I've got different kind of sometimes names, and it's like this is Sochi because this video is coming to you from Russia's Sochi, the southern capital, and that's why this topic will be like something about Mr. Seagal has caught my attention and the Guardian article headline runs like Steven Seagal is now in charge of Russia's U.S. relations. Is there anything this man can't do? He has become a cryptocurrency mascot, made three films, written a novel, and flawed an Aikido team in the past year alone. Soon he will put his diplomatic skills to use for Mr. Putin. The article is very interesting. Let's take a look at how and see what it says. If you want an idea of just how committed Vladimir Putin is to fixing Russia-U.S. ties, consider that he has appointed Steven Seagal as a special diplomatic envoy to the U.S. Seagal has held Russian citizenship since 2016, but is now elevated to a formal role by President Lulz, as the under siege legend put it himself. I take this honor very seriously. Hey, someone's got to, according to Russia's foreign ministry, the special representative will reform his duties without any financial remuneration and for the purpose of strengthening direct contacts, mutual understanding, and trust between the Russian and American peoples. Finally, the good kind of direct contacts, but go on. The special representatives will be involved in the preservation of memorial sites in the U.S. that are somehow connected with Russia. Places such as Don Gior's hard drive, I guess, for Paul Manafort's garden, where landscaping bills ran over 450,000 dollars for 4 years. Incidentally, this isn't even the first time Russia has tried something like this. In 2013, the then Deputy Prime Minister Dmitry Rogozin suggested Seagal could use his authority and connections in the American establishment to broker small arms deals between Russia and the U.S. For whatever reason, the Obama State Department didn't bite on that one. How old-fashioned that decision now seems. For a Kenyan, he sure was off the pace. That said, he wasn't alone, and there will be plenty still playing catch up as far as Seagal's extraordinary career trajectory is concerned. People who missed his appearances various arms fairs over the past couple of years, or have never seen him hold a bar fight to inquire rhetorical of his victim. What does it take to change the essence of a man? Admittedly, there are times when even I have to wonder like, how the man I have spent 25 years being humorously obsessed with now finds himself at the convergence of various political currents. But for the record, Segal has always contained multitudes. In 2005, to pick a year at random, Segal didn't just release that critically misunderstood straight DVD classic Into the Sun, in which his brutal schooling of Yakuza involves extortions, exhortations such as eat your chopsticks, and far from it, he also released an album named Songs from Crystal Cave, which he described as outside the country meets world music and meets Aikido. The sleeve note of which so Seagal credited not just as lead singer and guitarist, but also as a percussionist whose honest skills ranged from drums to clay pot. But that was not all, not by a long shot. The same year also saw Seagal bringing his first energy drink to market called Lightning Bolt, insisting that he had traveled through Asia, sourcing the ingredients I imagine there is some cloud wreathed mountain in Nepal where sugarcane juice flows naturally. Seagull claimed lightning bolt and untold natural power, and increasingly, who would argue? I mean, take a look at his first, take a look at his, I'm sorry, past 12 months alone. By these standards, 2005 now looks like a fallower year. And let's check that. Let's check that once again out. By way of baseline, he has still turned out three movies since his this time last year. There was China Salesman, where he co-starred with Mike Tyson. There was something called General Commander, and then Attrition, where promotional material featured Seagal in Vermeer, him like fighting in front of their window, pouring over documents that I assume might help him uncover why Thai girl with mystical powers had gone missing, contains violence, nudity, and some drug scenes. But those emotion pictures were just distorted things. As far as the other activities column of Seagal's diary went, it became the mascot for a cryptocurrency called Bitcoin earlier this year. According to the currencies found, as Seagal believes that what he does in his life is about leading people into contemplation to wake them up and enlighten them in some manner. And these are precisely the objectives of the Bitcoin to generation. Other diary entries over the past 12 months. George Foreman offered to fight him in Vegas. Seagal went a bit quiet about that, but there hasn't been a firm denial yet. He published a novel about the deep state titled The Way of the Shadow Wolves, which featured a forward from racist Arizona Sheriff Joe Arpaio, since pardoned by Donald Trump. Turning it over in May, hands might now I'm struck by Seagal warning on the cover page. Always remember that the truth comes in many forms. And elsewhere, he was banned from entering Ukraine for 5 years for national security reasons. He read Aikido. He found national security. He found time to explain to multiple international news broadcasters that all countries subvert other countries' elections. He took apart a Russian Aikido team in a display that made Triumph of the Wheel and WrestleMania look unrehearsed, and there were notable Me Too allegations about them. I'm right now checking out some music because I love listening to music while I'm just feeding onto the YouTube some kind of content, and that's why I'd like to get some opera tracks and something like Piano Concerto Number Two by Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. While I do that, I love listening just. Arguably, this was Seagal's most controversial since the one in which he was formally declared to be a Tulku, a reincarnated Lama, by the old sect of Tibetan Buddhists. All beings have within them the potential for becoming Buddhists, declared an eminent Buddhist leader. With Steven Seagal, I perceived this potential to be particularly strong. He went on to rule. It's possible to be both a popular movie star and Tolku. As indicated a lot of people made a fuss about this back in the day, with which the only responses people can't be very dreary, can't they? For me, the best bit about the news was that despite his radioactive absurdity, even back then, Seagal got the nod, and fellow series Hollywood Buddhist Richard Gere didn't. I pictured Gere smashing an entire pool house shrine when he found out. Similarly, I hope Seagal's latest humor has put things into perspective for other Putin bros such as Julian Assange and Glenn Greenwald. To be politically leapfrogged in Putin's affections by a guy wearing Travolta's cast off Windows pigs is a reminder that life comes at you fast, and it could easily be about to use a microwave as a weapon against you. Even so, some of you may be wondering, is it possible to be both a talker and an envoy for Putin? It appears so. On the one hand, it would seem a bit of a contradiction to be tinkling your gold bells at the same time and regularly posing for pictures with surface-to-air missiles. But Seagal is nothing if not pragmatic. He has an intense reverence for Native American artifacts, for instance. But if you are kicking off in a bar and he has only a dream catcher to hand, he will strangle you with it without hesitation. As far as for what is going to happen next in Seagal's uh, malarially picturesque existence, the question is only how much further the envelope can be pushed. And I guess the answer is infinitely further. I have put a call into the guys in Jern, but my feeling is that they are going to come back with some kind of expanding Seagalverse theory, in many ways akin to the Big Bang, but creating an even more vast volume of possibility. Crucially, no one should assume this story is going to end remotely quietly. If any foreign policy think tanks are now scrabbling frantically for people who have seen all of Seagal's many works, including his preposterous appearance on something called The Celebrity Guide to Wine. Then, then do please get in touch. I may know someone who can help you. Thank you for being with me. My name is Samuel. Watch this channel if you think there is something interesting over here.